I'm joined today for a year-end interview with Constable Melanie Flynn from the Lloydminster RCMP. Melanie, I'll start with getting you to go through some of the different work that the different units of the Lloydminster RCMP have been working on this year.
Over the last year, the detachment here in Lloydminster, we do have different units within the detachment, and our general investigation sections and our crime reduction unit, they've been participating in a lot of numerous initiatives and projects that have been targeting chronic offenders in the community. So doing things such as like warrant roundups and investigations that focus on firearms and gang activity. We've also pulled in some resources from like our St. Paul area, so our district area, to come down and support those units as well with those projects. So we've seen a lot of that activity happening at the detachment. We've also concentrated a lot of efforts into things that we've heard from the community of areas of concern. So we hosted town halls in the spring and in the fall there. And one of the biggest issues that came up was speeding in the residential areas and a lot of traffic noise or poor driving in those residential areas. So we've increased our patrols and our enforcement in those areas, including school zones. We did target school zones, especially at the start of September, October, pretty heavy. Yeah, we also heard there from some residents in that and from the public that areas like the service center, there's been some concern around traffic and loitering and stuff like that in that area. So we've increased our proactive patrols in that area as well to kind of deter some of that behavior and a heavy presence of enforcement in that area.
I want to ask you about those community engagement sessions. You brought up earlier some of the issues that you're hearing from residents. And I know a lot of residents like being able to hear from the RCMP and also voice their concerns. How nice was it to be able to have those community engagement sessions this year in person once again?
Well, as a community policing officer, I was very excited to get back into the community and do in-person events versus virtual presentations and stuff like that. So we did participate. Like I said, we hosted the town hall, and that was in person this year. So that feedback from the community is really important. It does go into our annual strategic planning for the year, which will be coming up again, in March. We'll start gathering some info for that. So we really like to hear from the community members and what's going on and what their areas of concerns are, so we can focus that into our strategic plannings as a detachment. We've done lots of community engagement events, including Squash the Hunger, partnering with the co-op. We did a Cram the Cruiser, partnering with the Superstore. Food donations, which went toward the Salvation Army. I guess coming out of COVID, that was we're seeing a big need for food security and stuff like that. So we're really happy to be a part of those events, and lots of positive feedback from the community when they're seeing us out there and partnering with those agencies. We've done lots of partnership and collaborations with the Lloyd Youth Council, the Lloyd Youth Center, including the graffiti cleanup this summer, and we did some highway cleanup as well with the youth center. And just promoting that positive relationship with the youth of Lloydminster is really important for us as RCMP. We've got to participate in things such as presenting in person to seniors as well around senior cyber safety and fraud prevention. Getting to do some of those senior luncheons and stuff again back in person. So we're really, we're, as RCMP officers, we're really happy to be engaging in person again, because you do get more impromptu conversations happen that way.
Now let's talk about crime in Lloydminster in 2022. Can you take us through some of the statistics you have for this year?
So overall in Lloydminster, We have seen some positive trends regarding our crime stats. We've seen a 6% decrease in persons crimes, so such as assault. We've seen uh, a 4% decrease in property crimes, including theft of vehicles, break and enters. Um, we've also saw a 14% decrease in collisions around the city, and I think that reflects a bit of our traffic safety plan that we've put in play as a result of information provided by the public. So that's a good decrease. And we have seen a 18% increase in drug files. Um, that's one area that we've seen an increase, I guess, but it does reflect our proactive efforts around what we talked about our general investigation sections and our crime reduction unit targeting, gang activity and stuff like that. I think that's where we see that increase in drug files coming from.
Well, Melanie, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us today. And before we go, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do. I always see you out at different community events when we're covering stories, or even when we're not. You're always a pleasant face around the community. So thank you for the work you do, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thanks, Jace.